Ah, the Skiblingtons. The violent skeleton siblings that just can't play nicely together. But that wasn't always the case. They weren't originally children, and although they still have their comedic violent side, they were designed a lot darker in the pre-release stage. We will delve into this and more as we strip back the layers on this bony animation and take you through the making of the Skiblingtons in Dissecting the Bones. Although the Skiblingtons were not the first characters to be introduced to the channel, they were the first programme to air all the way back on August the 27th, 2020. And they have been entertaining you on this channel for the past year and a half, and have also had a part on nearly every programme on the channel. But how did it all start? And what changes have they undergone to get to the Skiblingtons that we all know and love? Like any character or show, it started with the basic ideas. Brainstorming with pen and paper, I had the basics. Halloween, horror, skeleton, violent. The details slowly evolved from a singular skeleton to a group of skeletons. The title idea of the Skiblingtons and the storyboard of 6 episodes for the Halloween season. That's right. It was originally a 6-part Halloween special called The Skiblingtons. How original, right? So, how did the Skiblingtons evolve so much in the production stage? Well, in truth, it took over 5 years for this to occur, as they played their original designed role in a production that was axed. Back when they were a darker and more evil design, before they were redesigned into the current Skiblingtons. The current clip is their opening scene on the axed programme. It might look familiar, as this opening scene has actually been recycled and the old Skiblingtons have been remodelled into the new Skiblingtons for the crossover with Tobor. So 2 versions of the Skiblingtons have used this animation piece. Over the course of the production stage, the characters and their design changed numerous times. Starting with one character, the idea quickly changed to a group to give the character something to interact with. Eyes were added to give a little extra expression as they were intended to not speak. Eventually, 2 of the skeletons were formed into child size and all was given a basic accessory to identify between each character. But before this final look was settled upon, they went through multiple designs, including one idea where one of the skeletons is only a baby, and another design based off the original look of the more evil version of them from their original production. In fact, as you can see from this early production stage clip, this design was the original design that was in the production at the start of Skiblingtons, as the original aesthetic of the show was to be much darker. However, with story changes, so did the aesthetic of the show, so the look too had to change. As a little nod to one of the original features from their old design, you can still see the gouged out eye in one of the episodes as a battle wound gag. The programme's name stuck as the Skiblingtons right up to a day before publishing, when the brainwave hit me of the basics of the programme's story, being a sibling rivalry, and they are skeletons. They are sibling skeletons. They are the Skiblingtons. A simple mashup of exactly what they are and what the show's about. Quickly, new thumbnail shots were designed and new title sequences with the new title were recorded, ready for publishing the very next day. The episode titles were brainstormed around childhood games, and so the content of the episodes themselves followed suit. The rock paper scissors game comprised of a 3-parter, with each episode replacing one of the 3 items with something related to what happens in that episode. Some of the specials was an exception to the game rule, and one special even hashed its own title with a game name, because why the hell not? Like any sibling duo, there is always one that has to win, but that wasn't the intention. As you can see from these original post-production clips, the boy did win. Each sibling would alternatively win each episode, and these episodes were ready to be published. Until my mother saw the first episode and commented, "It's nice to see girl power," which made me look at the story progression in a different way. What if the girl always gets the upper hand, and if she doesn't win, she gets her own back, in the way any sibling would, by throwing a tantrum? So work set about remodelling the animations to switch the characters round to always make the girl win or throw a tantrum. Thanks, Mother, for creating more work. So what goes into making one of these episodes? Before any work begins on animating, we need to build the set, so we can establish the space we have to work with. There's nothing worse than a character walking through a prop piece. Then we need to decide our camera points, where we want to record the scene from. If the camera point moves with the action, this can be added in later when we have a model to use as a guidance to follow where the action will be. Personally, I like to add in backgrounds at this stage, to give me a better feeling of the overall look of the scene. Next, the character models are added in position, and animation work can begin. At this point, if I have moving camera shots, I keyframe them in now. Also, any objects in the scene that move or interact, I keyframe in at the same stage as the cameras. Next, all things light related are implemented, such as ambience lighting, key lighting, shadow work, ambient keystoning. Then, anything effect related gets masked over the production, like rain, clouds, smoke, mist, dust, lightning bolts. Finally, finishing touches, for instance, background characters moving or reacting to the scene in the foreground, props moving or reacting to the scene conditions, and finally, trees swaying in the breeze. Then sound effects are added before the scene is printed and sent to editing software to be seamlessly connected to the rest of the episode's scenes, and have titles added, and finally any music attached over the timeline, and then the finalised printing ready to be published. Just a quick fun fact for you. In the crossover episode with the Skiblingtons and Tobor, because of the dark setting of the episode and the dim lighting, the original model of Tobor was very bright and had a bright glow against the dark surroundings. So Tobor was given a respray of a murky green colour to blend into the episode aesthetic better. Did you notice he changed colour?
Oi, Skiblingtons, wanna play ball?